Hello everybody, welcome back to another C++ tutorial with SciHeartPlay. Sci here, and we are going to finish learning our while loop and hopefully start on do while loop. So before we begin, last episode, my brain hit a rock and I don't know what the problem was, but you saw me typing that random stuff. I couldn't type straight, and my logic of how the world works simply just decided not to turn on. And that happens sometimes with me, and I apologize for that. So hopefully today we won't suck at programming. Well, I won't, at least. I bet you guys did awesomely. And I don't know if you guys have realized this, but if you started out with not knowing anything about C++, and then you could look back on how much you've learned. Programming is two parts. There's the syntax, and there's the logic. Alright? So, syntax, there's grammar syntax, but basically programming syntax is memorizing what cn means and memorizing what this means. Basically, syntax is when the part where you have to memorize what the stuff does. Alright, that's half of programming. The other half, the actually more important half, kinda, is logic. And that basically means you have to, when you're making an application, in almost any programming language, you have to visualize what do you want, what outcome do you want, like what kind of program is this, what is it going to do, how is it going to do what this does. So once you know how this is going to do what it's going to do, then that's actually when you start writing code. We're writing really small, and this is a tutorial, so I'm not going to use that the way that I just said you should do. But you need logic, special kind of logic, to shape the way, to be able to shape the syntax into useful things. Use your head to think about solutions to this demanding world. And I wasn't very good at this when I started, but programming, practice, just like almost anything in life, and you will get better at both syntax memorizing and logic. So, 3 minutes of our video has already been wasted, me giving you guys a pep talk, but I hope you guys take it as an important one. Anyway, while. So, let's begin this endeavor. Cout end, we're going to make an integer on end, set it equal to 0 for now. So then we input end, and then our control variable is that, set it equal to 0. So now this program is going to output the string wow, I actually didn't fail at typing for once. Hey everyone. So what this program is going to do is even though it's still quite useless, it's going to be a little bit less useless than the last one, because we're going to actually input the amount of times we want this string to output. So while control is less than end. So notice how I didn't put less than or equal to, because if your control is using 0 and not 1, then you want to just give out that equal sign. That's why I had a problem in the last one with my initial for loop, which I fixed. But here, if you're realizing this, since this while loop only takes in one information unit thing, Well, technically this is called a parameter, and I don't want to scare you guys with big words. Well, parameter, I don't really think, how many characters is that? Never mind, I'm not going to be able to, I can't trust my spelling. Anyway, what that is like the for loop, remember, took 3. We took an initial action, we took a continuation condition, and we took a continuation action. But this one is just taking a continuation condition. If we run this as is, once again, there's no telling when this is going to stop. And I'm telling you, it won't until it destroys this computer. So I guess you could say we have a virus. And I don't recommend you put this on the internet, because that's kind of illegal, making a virus. So aside from breaking laws in programming, say I don't make viruses, people, you can... Making spyware and viruses against the law, even though it's pretty easy with C++ when you're using against. This isn't a virus tutorial. Anyway, what we have to do is, I'm going to show you guys again. I'm going to compile this thing, and once again, you guys get to see. Alright, I can put in any string, but it will not matter. Oh god, slowing down. Okay, that was weird. Slow down my computer. Not my... Okay, so... Yeah, we basically... So instead of having our... the while loop is a little bit more manual. And that means you have to put your continuation actions in the block. So at the end, I could have... control ++ increment control by 1. So we're gonna have to say that. Last time we were able to put that in here, but not anymore. So this actually should work if we compile and run it. And so how many times? Let's say 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And for some reason, it should have executed this system pause. Why is it not? 2. Oh, that's how it worked. I don't know why I put that 5 there. 3. Yeah, it's working out. Alright. So yeah, you guys get the point. Wow. Like I said, for is useful when the program is deciding when to, the program all by itself is deciding when to exit out of the loop. And usually not while you're coding it, but some event in the program prior to the execution of your for loop would determine how many times it loops through. But while, that's kind of more like while you're running the program, you're deciding by the user is kind of controlling when to execute and how many times to execute the while loop. Now this next one that we're going to learn, the do while loop, which we're not going to have enough time for, is when inside the loop, while you're running the loop, every single time it runs through, you give it an option. And that's basically, do while is my favorite and the most used, because honestly, I don't know why. Each of these loops were basically built so you could do different tasks. Like each loop has its own type of strong suit, if you will. So that's why they made 3 of them instead of 1. And you should thank them for that, because it wasn't easy. Because if you remember, this code right here, times a couple trillion, is the only thing that makes this amazing thing we call a computer run. And controlling that basic information that basic isn't that easy. Anyway, this isn't a computer learning course, this is a programming course. For free. Yeah. So, I have to go now, so, hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day and bye. See ya.